already sensitized most of the issues because it's a security seminar. I thought I will speak on the security dimension of the Indus Water Treaty, but then I think they want me to speak on some lay perspective on the, I don't know whether lay has a perspective on this, but the point here is that, as he rightly said, even before Uri incident, people in the security and the strategic community have been debating how to punish Pakistan or inflict a pain on Pakistan through Indus Water Treaty, either through abrogation of the treaty, as he said, or seeking some kind of a revision in the treaty, because all these things have become obsolete now. Old treaty, new issues have come up, new requirements, new technology, new problems. So you have an excuse. Or the third option is to optimally utilize the water, that so much surplus discharge that goes into Pakistan could be utilized, that we are authorized to utilize, which we have not been able to do. I think the first two options have been ruled out. You know, we are a responsible nation in the world, rising power. We can't be lowering our status down to, going after small country, poor country. So, but the third option, I think we have effectively addressed. Just a few months back, all those three storage capacities, one linkage also, of course. One is the Uj Dam in Kathua. Secondly is the Shahpur Kanti in Pathankot. And the Satluj Bias link that has been now formalized. I'm sure the authorities here from the Water Commission is going to talk more about how we can better utilize our own water, which are authorized under the treaty itself. Those are very important issues. But having said that, I'm not going to get into that larger security issues, but stick to what really this Indus thing about the lay factor, or the Ladakh factor, you call it, since no one is from Kargil, so I can speak for Kargil as well, I hope. I don't know whether that's appropriate, but here I think this is the only place in India where you actually have the real Indus flowing. In fact, we are more Indians than most of you are. The name India comes from Indus, so Ladakh is the only place where you have the original Indus. And it took 50 years or 60 years sometime back when the Indus festival was restarted, or not started in fact. The people in this country got to know actually Indus is in India, not in Pakistan. So this is how the Sindhu Sammelan, Sindhu Nadi something festival was originated some 20 years ago. Now I'm going to touch on 3 points. One is that why and how I'm not concerned about the downstream Pakistan, about the Indus water. Actually, I'm more concerned about the upstream issue in China. And number 3, how I'm bigger concerned about the environmental changes that is bringing challenge to Indus Water Treaty. Now, these 3 key points that I'm going to touch here. And number 1, I think let me tell you that I don't feel any sense of responsibility to the concerns of Pakistan sitting in Leh, because 100% water flows from the Indus, from my area, goes to Pakistan. The entire water. And I don't think it's just the water, but also the silt, which becomes the lifeline for the agriculture in Sindh and Punjab in Pakistan. You don't have that much of silt in these other rivers in Jhelum and Chenab and others. Leh is a virgin mountain. The entire alluvial content, the rich, the soil content, silt, which flows into the Indus basin in Pakistan, that's the gold for Pakistanis. And we are not able to stop that. Not just the water, but also the silt. So I don't have the exact data, of course, how much water the Indus River contains in Ladakh. I believe it is about 10 million acre-feet which is just about 12% of the Indus Water Treaty, as the Pakistanis have measured at Karabakh. Kalabagh Dam, when they measure it, it's about 12% of the Indus water comes from that area, which is the northern part of the Indus system. Now, we in Leh are unable to use this water, either for agriculture or for irrigation or even for storage. Maybe very little for hydropower. Absolutely no diversion. Tragedy. If I was China, I would have done so much out of this water, including diversion. But we're a democratic country, we can't indulge in such a thing, people challenge it. But let me also tell you, only 5% of Ladakh's arable land is irrigated. Rest are mountain, snow-covered glaciers. Only 5% of our land is irrigated. And even here, I think it's 0.01% of our arable land is irrigated through Indus water. 99% of irrigation is done through glacier melt rather than runoff the river water. So we are entirely depending on the glacier melt which comes down to the valleys. These are used for agriculture, and once it flows into the Indus, it's no use to us. Either in the Shyok Valley in the Nubra, or in Zanskar Valley, or even in Indus Valley, this water has no use to us, and that's one fundamental fact. Now, as far as storage is concerned, we are authorized under the treaty to use about 0.25 million acre feet for general storage, and another 0.15% for hydropower, which is about 0.40 million acre feet. But I haven't come across any document from the government of India whether we are building any storage capacity in Ladakh, like you have in Kathua, in other places, or even Kishtewar, you have some storage. At least we are thinking about having storage capacity. But in Leh, I don't see any of these things are happening. But one feels good. In other part of J&K, some storage capacity is now being built. That's very important. We should be satisfied with. Now, as far as hydropower is concerned, now we have only 2 projects. Many of the schemes have failed in the past because of lack of technology. Probably corruption was a big factor in the failure of hydropower in Ladakh. You know, decades of many projects project like Saxena today doesn't exist. I grew up with the Saxena project, but I don't see any Saxena today. But millions and millions of rupees must have gone into this project. The 2 projects today existing, Nimu Basgo in Leh and the Chutak project in Kargil, I don't know whether they are working properly. I just spoke to the authority here from NHPC, so they are doing excellent work. I hope they are doing excellent work. But I'm yet to see light. I don't know. I just spoke to my family last night. Says, look, my phone is not charged because there's no electricity here. So that's one issue here. Now, as far as diversion is concerned, again, it's a tragedy and irony also that this nation doesn't get a single drop of water from Ladakh to rest of the country. 100% water goes to Pakistan, not even a drop. In fact, the drinking water, Bisleri water comes from Delhi to Leh. It should have been the other way around. But this is how, partly because the gradient is towards the west, like Satluj and Chenab also, Leh gradient is towards the west, so we can't really stop this water. But I think if we copy the Chinese model of diversion through tunneling, that's possible. Part of Ladakhi water, especially in Zanskar, the Padam Darcha Valley, water can be diverted to either Chenab, or if you can tunnel it down to Haryana and Delhi and Punjab, you can get fresh water from Leh to rest of the country. But for that, we require some $4 billion, which is not much, but you require a political will to divert water from Ladakh to the Gangetic Plain. I don't see that vision at the today, but we have to articulate this more and more, because you will not be violating any treaty diversion of Zanskar water. I'm not saying the real Indus in Ladakh, but some of the rivers from southern Ladakh can be shifted. I have a lot of maps, but there are also problems. Being a democracy, as I said, there is a Jispa storage dam in Lahaul Spiti in Himachal Pradesh. People have agitated against environmental problem, litigations, and all these things. So this is yet another. If we go for big time diversion of Indus water to rest of the country, we might have to face those kind of challenges. And China doesn't have any such problem, so they build up many things. Now, as a middle riparian country region, I am more concerned about what my upstream, the upper riparian state, China does. Now, we have been hearing a lot of things, and I have seen, if you Google it, the satellite photos, Chinese are building dams next to Ladakh. In the Ngari region, what do you call it, Ali or Gar area, they're building airports, it's a touristic place, Mount Kailash is right there, it's a military region looking after India, Nepal, then it's a linking road to Xinjiang and Tibet, so there are a lot of activities which is going on. So they have built massive dams and hydropower stations in that, which is a real source of concern for us, and actually the real Indus water has receded now. When I was young, the water used to be quite big, the level. Now it has gone down too deep, and which is a reality. Of course, the Chinese have far more drier and arid region to be irrigated. A couple of years ago, it is not possible to grow anything at that altitude of 13,000 feet above the tree line. You can't grow anything. Thanks to global warming, you can even grow tomato today. Even in Tibet, if it is possible in Tibet, Chinese are going for agriculture. And China has got enough empty land in Tibet. They can grow anything. Now it's becoming a possibility. And we are concerned about it because in Leh, we don't have enough plains. So all mountains. We can't grow agriculture also. So there are such kind of concern, and it's a military region. A lot of Han people are coming up, military stations are coming up. So the water is going to be a problem in this area because of the Chinese activities. Now, in fact, I have seen, if you look at the Pakistani media, Pakistanis are more concerned about what Chinese are doing in Tibet than we are. I haven't come across any research paper about the Chinese activities on the Indus. Whereas in Pakistan, so how our friends can do like this? They're not even thinking about what India is doing, but what China is doing is a concern for them. So it's an irony again, because they know that we can't do anything. So if anybody who can do it is Pakistan to divert the Indus. Now, it's not just that. Again, if you look into the scientific community research paper from China, especially from Urumqi and Kashgar universities, they are talking about Indus water being diverted to Xinjiang into Tarim Basin. Now, this is not a small thinking. Already, if Brahmaputra can be diverted from south to north, Indus can be diverted again to the north, to the west, wherever they want to take it. And Xinjiang is 1.1 million square kilometer area. Only 70,000 is irrigated. Rest is just barren. Now, if Indus can be diverted to Xinjiang, another China can be created. That is the potential. And the Chinese obsession for such grand scale projects. They might do it one day. At the moment, I don't see any feasibility, but they have an obsession. We have to be alert about it. Not that we can do anything to stop that, but we should be start thinking about what the Chinese are doing. So this is a big issue, and also perhaps they want to stabilize Xinjiang area because of unrest. They need water. because they think economic is an answer to all the political problems. Unlike in our case, we don't see economics as too much of an issue. There are other issues of non-political in nature. Now, it is again, it's not true. We don't have a treaty with Pakistan, with China on Indus or any other river, even on Satluj or Brahmaputra. They give us some data on the floods on the eastern rivers, on middle rivers. But in the cocktail meeting circuits and in the sidelines of meeting, the Chinese do send a lot of feelers to us that if you abrogate Indus Water Treaty with Pakistan, we will have no obligation then towards India. The Chinese keep on telling unofficially, not just Brahmaputra, even Satluj and Indus can be diverted. Now, this is again serious. If Indus and Satluj can be diverted by the Chinese, then even Bakra Nangal Dam won't exist. So it is so interconnected, the downstream, the upstream, and the middle stream, whereas we have the responsibility towards Pakistan, but you have to concern about what the Chinese are doing. We have to see in a very, very holistic manner. I am again not saying that we are not making noise, but I see Pakistanis are making a lot of noise, but the Chinese are compensating the Pakistanis through CPEC, 5 caskets on the Indus side. Deamir, Basha, Bunji, so many projects that are coming up on the Gilgit-Baltistan area. So I'm sure they do fulfill the requirement of the Pakistani electricity, power requirements, but I don't think they're thinking about India, how the Indus problem should be addressed. Now, my concern is bigger. All of you must have read reports, even the recent reports of the Hindu Kush Himalayan assessment paper. 2/3 of the glacier space is going to disappear. So that's our concern now. If the global temperature remains at 1.5, even then 2/3 will disappear by the end of the century. So there will be no glacier available. Cryosphere, it is called the glacier belt, that is going to be disappearing. And that is, again, in places in Ladakh, we are already having this problem about the glacier melt problem in terms of flash floods. It's not just about the glacier melt. The permafrost, the underground temperature is also now becoming very high. So as a result, you have the floods along with the mud and also slit. So you have this devastation, catastrophic type, a lot of people being killed in 2010. And it's becoming very frequent now. Now, in terms of water availability, you see the crisis in Leh now, there's no drinking water. As the tourists keep on coming now from all over the country, there is a real shortage of drinking water issue now. It's going to be a very catastrophic in a couple of years' time. Like in Shimla this year, the tourists have been asked not to come. Or if they come, they must come with their own water. Leh is going to face the same problem. And we don't have enough technology to lift the Indus water on the mountains. Where all are you going to do that? So this is a serious challenge. And even the IPCC report said by 36% of, there is no even census of glaciers now. I don't know how many glaciers we have. J&K government has not studied the environment of Ladakh. How many glaciers we have? How many have disappeared and how many are existing? What measures are we taking to protect the glaciers? So which is a real problem of J&K? I'm not saying for the country, but for J&K, your assets are glaciers. And we have no counting even of the number of glaciers that we have in the entire area. Now I have covered all the issues of how the entire Indus water from Leh area, Ladakh area goes to Pakistan, then the issue of storage, issue of hydropower, issue of diversion, then we have the environmental challenges. All issues are not featuring into the Indus Water Treaty. Treaty was signed long time ago. Things have changed. The climate change problems have also come. This can be an excuse to seek amendment in the treaty, I'm sure we have to create a lot of debate on this. Now, I don't know whether this can give us some kind of a pain to the Pakistanis, but certainly I think I must congratulate, I think beyond the official dome, beyond the agencies, we actually don't discuss this issue. This is a very emotive and very, very sensitive things. But then I think the university today, we must congratulate, because a lot of ideas have to be generated now. And people in J&K are not really aware about this issue. They just take it for granted. Water is our right. Water is, nobody cares for water. But that's not the way. If we concentrate on these issues, like if Saudi Arabia has got oil, you have water. But Saudi Arab countries are aware about their potentials, how much oil and gas they contain. But are we really aware at the people, at the conscious level, at the common ordinary people? So we have to generate a sense of responsibility and, right privileges and how this water has to be preserved or utilized and make profit out of it. As a Ladakhi, I'm itching now. What can I contribute to the nation? I don't have gold, I don't have gas, I don't have oil. What I have? I have some good water, fresh water. Now how can I sell it to 1.2 billion people in the rest of the country? That's my idea how to make use of my assets and resources. I think I'll end here, but I had some slides to show, but unfortunately there's some problem here. Maybe if time permits, we can go for that later. Thank you very much.